What's up, beautiful people? It's your boy, the Spiritual Bodybuilder, and we're here to talk about 2023. Man, I've been spending a lot of time meditating on the energies here after I wrote down all the major transits. And let me tell you, we have a lot of change happening in 2023. So, to recap for 2022, 2022 was all about facing our fear. It was all about endings, changes, clearing out things, especially a lot of energy related to money, finances, digging, getting caught up and digging deep into our personal shadow and, understanding what we really believe, who we really are at a deeper level, and what our ethics, morals, and values are, and that of the entire world. Okay. So I'm going to go into what's going on the world stage, the significant energies that I'm seeing for what's to come, and then blend it all in with all the 12 signs of what you can expect for your sun and rising sign. I feel it's more prevalent to the rising, but it may be accurate for your sun sign as well. So please do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe if you do resonate with this information. So let's get down to it. The first most influential energy that I'm seeing is the shift of Saturn going from Aquarius to Pisces. So Saturn comes around every 28 to 30 years, especially if you're coming into your Saturn return this year. This is going to be massive because of all the other underlying growth and stuff that's happening. But Saturn in Pisces, the last time this has happened was 1993 to 1996. So think back to 1993. Where were you at? What were you doing? Right now, of course, the world is a different place right now. But for me personally, that was the year that I went into foster care. So, major fundamental shift in living situations. Okay. Now, going into Pisces, Pisces represents the media. It represents agriculture. I mean, not agriculture. It represents the pharmaceutical industry. It represents spirituality, of course. Okay. So, we're going to see a lot of energies shifting and changing in regards to like these alternative, which is actually really the natural stuff that should be fundamental, but the powers that be switched that up many years ago. I see this coming back as more fundamental, and we're already seeing it everywhere. I believe that it's really going to start to, like, a lot of the leaders are going to start to be building these new leaders again too. New leaders are going to be coming up into power. The more humble, the more heart soul based, I want to help the world instead of I just want to make money and manipulate people, because those people, they're going down, baby. They're going down. And so a lot of these people, they're going to be getting caught up in their addictions, caught up in all this negative energies, and it's the people that are living from the heart and they're pure that are going to be rising to the top to help these people out, to show them a better way, because really the only thing that can heal the world is love. And that sounds kind of cliche and corny, but it actually is so incredibly true. It's fascinating to me. So also, like, different levels and types of conflict, I believe are going to, it's going to be like, it's going to almost happen, then oof, somebody sees a light, or somebody steps up, or someone, the powers that be are going to start to shift and switch as people with good morals and ethics are going to start to step up and be like, no, this is not the way, this is not okay. Now, there are a lot of warlike energies. I will say that, especially from 2020 with the Saturn Pluto conjunction. We've had Pluto and Jupiter, with the Mars retrograde right now, especially in the United States. We're getting ready to go through a Chiron return, as well as being in the middle of this Pluto return. Shit's crazy, guys. I mean, this is just where it's at, but it needs to happen. Okay. So what I really see, big time, is that we're going to run into like an addiction epidemic. Like, we're going to start to see people that have been on medications for years, like, starting to really lose their shit, because as this vibration and frequency continues to raise up, our bodies can't handle being in the sixth state anymore. Right. So it's either we clean ourselves up to raise our vibration and to be true to ourselves, our deeper truths are being exposed, and we're getting to see who we really are at a deeper level, and our hearts are opening, whether we like it or not. Honestly, I think we should like it, because that's a damn good thing, right? So this is like where our souls are being tested and the hearts of men and women are being shown to them right in their face. So are you truly living in your heart, or are you living in your ego and, being narcissistic and psychopathic? All these narcissistic and psychopathic energies are being called out left and right. Okay. Now, there is a lot of belief systems that are being debated, and whose side is right and wrong and up and down and left and right, and really, who cares? A lot of truths are subjective. Whatever your personal truth is, that's your truth is a reflection of your reality. So if your reality is all kinds of shitty, then you need to take a look at that. All right. You need to be honest with yourself. And with Saturn coming into Pisces, our truth is going to be relayed to us in a much deeper way. That's why people that are living lies of their lives are going to be really hurting. I mean, really, really hurting, and they're going to need our help. Okay. The people, the light workers, the star seeds, and all the empathic, really the meek. Okay, meek means humble. So the meek, like Revelation says, is starting to inherit the earth, and we're moving through all these deep traumas to clear all this stuff out. Because look, the fact is, the world is going through a collective near-death experience, right? And some souls are choosing to go, and some souls are choosing to stay and do the work and clear out and repent and honor themselves, right? Whichever vernacular you like to use, I believe that all these things are just different ways of really saying the same thing. Okay, we need to live in our heart, and we need to love ourselves. And through loving ourselves, we help others, and we live in a service to others based world. There's two different ways that human consciousness is going to go, and this is the 3D, 5D, right? The elevation and the suppression, however you want to look at it, but it's basically service to others is going to rise, service to self is going to fall. The fallen, they're going to be all controlled, and those systems, they're not going to be in our periph, because the universe, source, God, whichever word you want to use to describe it, is speaking to all of us right now and showing us the way. So you must step into your truth, and you'll be fine. So if you're not fine, you're not living your truth, bottom line. And Saturn going into Pisces is going to show us this right in our face. Okay. So we're going to see a lot of changes with the pharmaceutical industry, a lot of probably reform going on with that, a lot of reform, and possibly the fall of governments. All right. Especially going through the current return in the United States, man, oh man, we're gonna be a wounded country for a while, and there is a possibility that there could be a lot of conflict going around, but it's important not to feed it. All right, people are only in conflict with others when they're in conflict with themselves. So do not feed conflict. If we don't feed it, then we won't be a part of it. If we're not a vibrational match, it won't come around us. Now, that's an oversimplification, yes, but this is why people are moving off grid. This is why people are creating communities, myself included. Okay. And if you're interested in learning more about that, contact me, message below, let me know, and share this with people that you think would be interested as well. And let's build this together. Okay. So Saturn in Pisces is going to be going in, and it's going to be there for, until 2026, but it's going to move into Aries, and it's going to move back, and then it's going to move again. And when it moves into Aries in 2025, it's going to go with Neptune, which I'll talk about that at a later date, because that's going to be really, holy shit, next level. Okay. But for 2023, all right. Then we have Pluto going into Aquarius, man. For all us Capricorns, myself included, I'm so excited for this, because since 2008, Pluto has been hammering and hammering and hammering us Capricorns, like grow, purge, shift, complete, clear, right? Now Pluto goes in Aquarius, where this Aquarian age kind of vibe is going to take it to another level, which is decentralization, which is now definitely technological advances. Okay. And I think there's good things about that and not so good things about that. I'm personally working with some very advanced technologies that are frequency and vibrational based, that are, regenerating organs and, healing things in the body that most people think are not able to be healed, autoimmune diseases, things like that. We need to really approach and accept these advances with us like a childlike curiosity. However, it's the individual, or it's the intention behind whatever the technology is being used for that is important. I would be very careful about the new type of matrix that they're creating out there to get you stuck into, especially with the whole metaverse. I personally, I don't even really go on social media anymore. I don't play video games and all this VR stuff, creating a whole new reality. That's essentially just escapism at the highest degree. And also Saturn going into Pisces is escapism. It's like structuring your escapism, right? So you can either fall way deep in the addiction of escapism, because escapism is an addiction. Okay, you can be addicted to anything, addicted to thoughts, addicted to money, addicted to sex, addicted to love, addicted to taking care of others besides taking care of yourself. Anything that pulls you out of alignment in yourself is an addiction, right? So when you think about it like that, all right, like spending too much time on the computer, especially if you work in that industry, just be careful, guys, okay? Because that other alternate reality pulls you out of your own reality. And we need to be conscious creators of our reality, especially right now coming into this next year. There's going to be massive, massive, massive changes all around the world. And it is ripe, really, truly ripe for us to create our new reality. So that's where our head needs to be at. We need to be surrounding ourselves with people and things and situations that make us feel good, that build us up, that help us, feel lighter and better. If we're around situations or people that are making us feel heavy or bogged down or tired or depressed or not, not in our highest and best vibrational good, then, it's time to get the fuck out, right? Chuck it in the fucking bucket. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have, let's see, look at my notes here. On March, okay, like so got lost there for a second. All right, so we have Saturn first going into Pisces March 7th. All right. On the 23rd of March, Pluto enters Aquarius. All right. So that's like boom, boom right there. Now, Pluto is only going to be in Aquarius. It's only going to get to, I believe, 1 degree. And then it's going to retrograde back in June. But for that time, that's going to give us a glimpse of what's to come later on. So it's time to set the seeds and plant the foundations now, because we're also in the mix of shifting the nodes. So we're coming to the end of a nodal axis point from this fixed energy to this cardinal energy. So fixed energy is, like removing all these stubborn behavior patterns, removing all, like looking at like how we get in our own way, self-sabotaging, all those things. And it has to do with deep fears. Okay. Scorpio, South Node Scorpio is releasing fears. Now South Node in Libra is looking at how we're connecting in relationships. Okay. And then North Node in Aries, what we're coming into this year, is all about stepping into our own relationship with ourselves in a new way after letting go of all those fears in our identity. So, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So this on the world stage, we're going to see a lot more righteousness. We're going to see a lot more people like, let's go, let's make it happen. Like, this is also like, if you think about, after 1776, when they established this new place, this is establishing a new place in the United States. Now, I'm also going to go into the China chart a little bit and the Russia chart. There's a lot of pretty big stuff going on there. But then once Pluto goes into Aquarius, then literally a month later, we're going to have Jupiter going into Taurus. So Jupiter is only going to be in Aries. It's entering today. I'm doing this on December 14th. Jupiter is going into Aries, 0 degree Aries, on the 20th. So it's going to be in Aries for 4 months. That's it. Now, while Jupiter is in Aries, it's going to be conjuncting Chiron. Okay. Now, while the United States is coming into its Chiron return, this is going to bring up all the wounded aspects of our society and individually. Okay. So a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of shadow work. And for the people that don't understand what shadow work is, or have never seen this or understood it, or just feel completely lost or like they're living in hell, they're going to need help from people like you and me. because we've been doing the shadow work for years. We understand this. The wounded healers are the ones that are leading the way because we've already been through all this death and rebirth. We know what it looks like, we know what it feels like, and we can empathically connect in that way. So this next 4 months is like preparing the wounded healers for leadership in this new world, because we are coming in to this new world. All right. Then when Jupiter goes into Taurus, that's going to be beautiful, beautiful. Okay. So that is right around the same time when the nodes start to shift. But we're going to be going back and forth in and out of, right on the edge of Taurus, Scorpio, and Aries, Libra. So it's like we're getting a taste of stepping into that. And then 2024 is when we really go in to the blossoming. It's like this new consciousness is a lotus flower, and it's been rumbling and rumbling and rumbling and cleared all the crap out so that it can actually sprout. So for everyone out there that's been doing this work for a long time and working with like natural remedies, functional medicines, plant medicines, energy healing, all those things, we're going to get so much more powerful. Now, the caveat to that is we have to be clean. Our bodies and our minds, the cleaner that we are, the stronger that divine source energy can flow through us, and we can channel our gifts, because we all do have gifts. Okay. I personally have found my gift is activating other people's gifts, which is really fucking cool. Let me tell you. Okay. So let's work together and let me activate your gift. You know what I mean? So the eclipse that we're going to be having, we're starting April 20th. We have a total solar eclipse. So the last eclipse we had in Taurus was the last total lunar eclipse that we're gonna have for 5 years. Now we're coming into a total solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Aries. This is gonna jumpstart this Aries energy, and it's at an anarectic degree. Now, anarectic degree means that this is bringing out the mastery energy of that Aries vibe. Now, me being an Aries rising, I'm like, oh hell yeah, you know what I mean? This means we're gonna. It's like it's go time, baby. This is like gonna light a fire under all of our asses to get up and go. Okay. Now that can go one of two ways. Because if you got a lot of shadow work to do, or if you're low or in your shit, it's going to be like, I need to jump all the way into my shadow, and that can be dangerous. Okay. This is where we have to look out for addictions and suicide, thoughts of suicide in people that, are struggling with their shadow and things like that. So, all these off-grid living places, all these communities that we're building, all this, like, body work kind of stuff and body movement, like ecstatic dance and yoga and all these things are really becoming so popular because we hold on to our emotional trauma in our physical body, right? That's why I prefer, lifting weights and, like hitting the heavy bag and, like HIIT training and stuff like that. That's my meditation. Okay. And I'm a bit of an anomaly, but what's your meditation, right? You have to discover this. And so if you're looking for somebody else for answers to figure out what is you like to do, you have to explore. You have to get out there and feel it out and figure it out and get around people and get uncomfortable, right? Because it's connection is through other relationships, especially with the node shifting into the relationship houses. Libra is relationships. Aries is individuation of your relationship with yourself. Okay, with the North Node going into Aries, this is learning how to be us in a whole new way. And individuation is our ego, essentially, right? Individuation is how we create our uniqueness of coming out in the world, but realizing that when we get out into the world, that we are all connected, that at the very core of us, we are all the same, but we just express it in a unique way. That's all ego is. But we got to get rid of the toxic shit. We got to get rid of the toxic masculinity, which we are doing in this Mars retrograde right now. Okay. So, and I believe too, I'll look at the chart here in a few moments, but I believe that the Mars retrograde is going over the Mars in the United States chart as well. So the United States is getting hit on so many levels, guys. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, so on May 5th and 6th, we have the lunar eclipse at 15 degrees Scorpio. So it goes from 29 degrees Aries to Scorpio, then into Libra, then into Taurus, and then back into Libra and then Aries in 2024. All right. So it's like we're passing the baton to the next level, but the consciousness can only raise and clean out and clear up so quickly. All right. It has to be done slowly but surely. Now, let's take a look at some of these charts here, as I wanted to, let's see, Declaration of Independence. All right. So, we also, yeah, so Chiron, our natal Chiron for the United States is at 20 degrees of Aries, right? So that's going to be coming up in 2023. We're going to be crossing that. The moon is at 27 degrees of Aquarius. So we're going to be Saturn going over the moon of 27 degrees. So my natal moon is at 21 degrees. So it's actually on top of it right now. And I can tell you that Saturn, transiting Saturn conjunct this natal moon for the United States, this don't play. This is like, we need, like, anything that is not authentic and like is like heartfelt is going to be called out. But it's also going to be very clear to the nation what needs to be done, and we're going to start to see new leaders popping up because we ain't having that shit. Mars at 21 degrees of Gemini, so we are going through the Mars really return in retrograde on top of here in the seventh house. This is a relationship to other countries, right? So look, I'm not going to lie, man. Like, Mars retrograde on top of here, the last time it happened was 1943 during World War II. With this going forward, and with it being the Pluto return, and with having the Pluto-Saturn conjunction and the Jupiter, I mean, all these signs are pointing to some really hefty stuff going on, but it's like it's going on to be called out because there's a lot of corruption going on out there in the world, and that is not okay, right? Now, it's interesting to think of all the layers of this, right? Because also, if we look at the bigger picture here, let's look at China real quick. Okay, China, this is their birth chart that I found online. If it's an incorrect birth chart, please, comment down below and let me know, so we can discuss that. But they have their moon at 3 degrees of Aquarius, conjunct their ascendant at 1 degree of Aquarius. Now, we had was it the Jupiter Saturn conjunction at 0 degrees of Aquarius last year, and that's where all this stuff started, and now we're seeing things are stepping up and getting crazy. Pluto is going to come over this of their ascendant and their moon. This is going to rock China. People are going to rise up. I mean, you can bet. And with Pluto conjunct Mars here, this is like war, with the rest of the world through controlling, their people. Chiron in the 11th house, that's a wounded vision of who they are. So this is like needing to suppress, but the people ain't gonna have it. I'm telling you right now, especially with the Yod here. In fact, they have 2 Yods in their chart. One Yod going to their moon, and then another Yod going to Uranus in the 6th house. Like, China's about to go through a massive reconstruction, just like the United States is, but in a different way, because this is God speaking to them and like saying, "Hey guys, it's time to change. Like this regime is not gonna." It's not going to last. Like, but of course, it might get ugly because the powers that be want to keep control. So we have to really, as long as we're staying in our heart, it's like it's so simple, yet it's so difficult because there's distraction and bombardment of toxins and poisons, and from every direction, EMF, and just all these things. I mean, I can go on for hours about all the ways that they're trying to poison us, but this shit ain't gonna last. All right. I know it. I know it in my heart. I can feel it. God speaks to me, and it's not going to last. Okay. We're all stepping up, and circumstances are going to happen. It may look like things are falling apart, but as they're falling apart, when we're in our heart, we know how to navigate the chaos, and we step it up, and we create these different systems to put in place, and bam, we have community. We go create our own stuff and develop our own new way of living a new earth. The new earth is already here, guys. It's just, different places, and it has to be created from us. We are the ones that are creating this. Okay. So let's see. Russia. We look at Russia again. I found this birth chart for them online. So if this is inaccurate, please let me know. But looking at this, I mean, they have their moon and rising in Taurus. So Uranus is going through their identity right now, transforming their identity. Uh, and what else was I looking at? Um, um, let's see here. Not really seeing a whole lot of stuff, except right now they're going through a lot with in the seventh house with Jupiter and Venus in Scorpio, and of course they're a Capricorn nation. But next year, when we have the Venus retrograde, Venus is going to retrograde in Leo, and it's going to retrograde over their Neptune in their fourth house, and this is the feeling at home. So this could be like a significant leader, don't make it in that country. So with the United States, we actually the Sun conjunct Jupiter and Venus here. I mean, this is actually pretty incredible. But we have the North Node at 6 degrees of Leo, and we're going to be having, of course, Venus retrograde. Where is Venus going to retrograde at? Venus is going to retrograde in Leo. I don't have the exact degrees here, but retrograding in Leo, it's at least going to get close to the North Node here in the eighth house, and the eighth house has to do with other people, right? And big money and taxes and all this stuff. So, this could be good or not so good. This could be where the whole new IRS thing is coming out, and they're going to be knocking on people's doors and trying to steal money from everybody because they like to overspend. But this could also be the whole fiat system crashing, okay, which is most likely the case. But let's take it back to the current transits and start from the top here. January 12th, Mars will go direct. Okay. Now, Mars going direct is going to be a breath of fresh air. And that's going to be at 8 degrees of Gemini. So that's going to get and that's when everything, like right now, everything is up, down, left, right, going all kinds of weird directions. Nothing is staying the same. Everything is just shifting and changing, and we don't know which direction it's going to go. So we have to be masters right now of observe, don't absorb, right? Now, as this continues to move, at the 18th, Mercury is going to go direct. So Mercury is going to go retrograde, I believe it's the 27th or 28th of December. Actually, let's look at exactly when that's going to be. And that's going to be happening in Capricorn. Okay, so 27th, the 29th, apologies. So 29th at 24, and it's going to be conjunct Venus and Pluto. So this is seeing the deepest truth. My birthday is January 1st. So, oh boy, this is deep, guys. This is really, really intense. And this is also hitting some of the points where some of these major transits have happened over the last 2 years. And Mercury retrograde with Mars retrograde in Gemini, and Gemini rules Mercury. This is like a triple Mercury retrograde, and it's going to take the Mars retrograde that's already like on steroids, and it's going to add a whole bunch of more. So for the first part of the year, like Christmas, New Year's, not going to really feel like New Year's. It's going to be kind of a wild, couple weeks. It feels like things are just collapsing and crashing all over the place. But then as we come into letting this go on the 18th, Mercury will go direct, and hallelujah, that's when things can start moving forward. That's when I feel the real beginning of the year is going to happen. All right. And just how happens on that day, the Sun and Pluto will be conjunct at 28 degrees of Capricorn. This is so intense. I mean, if your birthday's in the first 3 weeks of January, you're going to have a very intense year. And Capricorns this year are going to be called to stand up into leadership positions to lead from the heart, because once Pluto leaves Aquarius, it's like finally this weight gets released from our soul. Like it's been so heavy and so intense for so long. And then finally it's like, oh, all right, this is not easy, but it's all right. I know what to do. Like, let's get it. Instead of in the past, been like learn lesson, hard this, hard that. Like we've had to really endure a lot. So for all you Capricorns out there, I applaud you. And then even Cancers, because Cancers oppose this, right? That means that it's all your relationships and stuff. It's been a lot of really hard lessons to learn, okay? So on the 27th of January, Venus will enter Pisces. And And when Venus is exalted in Pisces, so that's going to be kind of nice. We're going to be feeling a little more like, all right, cool, things start finding move forward. I'm starting to see how I can receive this. Relationships will get deeper, and things will start to feel a little bit nicer. March 2nd, Jupiter, Venus, and Chiron is conjunct in Aries. So when we have this going down, all right, Jupiter conjunct Chiron. Look, this can go one of two ways. All right. And so for the first quarter of this year, this energy is going to be dominant. It's going to be like the wounded healer is in charge. All right. The wounded healer within yourself is going to be in charge. So are you letting your wounds define you to destroy you or define you to glow up? Because the fact is that when we sit in our wounds and we're okay with them and we learn them, this is really mastering our triggers at a whole new level. Okay. And as we master these triggers, we step into everything with a deeper empathy. And as our empathy deepens, our gifts also activate at a deeper level. So this is where telepathy and our different healing modalities and capabilities are going to be getting stronger and like wild. We're going to be seeing wild stuff. Not to mention, too, Neptune is going to be going into the last 5 degrees of Pisces this year, which, I mean, we've never seen this before. I think the last time was in the 1800s during the Salem witch trials and that kind of stuff, right? So, I mean, and of course, Venus and Neptune coming into this conjunction is so nice. I mean, super intuitive, super psychic. So get ready for your gifts to just be wow, right? But so wow that we have to be careful that we don't get carried away with them. We don't float away in the ethers. We have to keep ourselves grounded, right? Saturn in Pisces is also about having to have a good, solid nutrition routine, right? Keeping our bodies, our vessels, as clean and solid as possible and natural as possible, in order to be able to receive the messages clearly. Anything that we take that's going to alter our biochemistry or alter our consciousness has to be done with intention, and we have to know exactly what it's doing in our body. So that's why pharmaceuticals people are gonna be needing to get off all that stuff, because you take a pharmaceutical, say even just for high blood pressure, that has a ripple effect on all these different aspects in the body. And as these things express themselves, they will also alter the pH, which alters the gut, which alters the bacteria microbiome, which alters essentially the voices in our head is the bacteria in our gut. I've been able to show that with the work that I do. It's pretty cool stuff. But it's really this kind of research and information about the gut health and how the gut communicates with the brain is going to go to a whole new level. And I'm so excited that I'm on the front line of that. Shiz. All right. So let's see here. March 7th, we're going to have Saturn into the Pisces. Then on the 10th, Chiron is going to be exactly conjunct Jupiter. So again, this energy is going to be lasting for, a good while. And we're going to have to take that energy with us, into the rest of the year with deep empathy. Okay. Because once we clear that, then whatever our frequency or vibration is of really sitting into the deepest core part of our wounds and being able to express them in a healthy way, then once Jupiter goes into Taurus, our capacity for leadership is going to skyrocket. Okay, so this is a time to master your shadow. Master your shadow. Okay, for me personally, plant medicine is the way to go, but plant medicine is a means to the end. It's not something that you want to do really for the rest of your life, in my opinion, unless you're an ayahuasquero or a facilitator that you feel called to by the medicine, by the spirit of the medicine. Then of course, go with your intuition. But it can easily become an addiction, and there are a lot of people out there that think that they're practitioners that are really should not be working with these medicines. I've seen it, and it's not pretty. Okay, so we have to be very careful and always trust your own intuition. If you're working with a coach or you're working or you're you need a guide or whatever, you should be working with someone that helps you to see your own stuff, not someone that tells you what to do, but someone that helps you see how to understand your own stuff so that you can make your own decisions. Okay, so on March 23rd, Pluto goes into Aquarius, and the 25th, Mars enters Cancer. So finally, we're going to be having some movement there. Now, Mars, it's in detriment, meaning that, it's not really super happy in Cancer, but at least it's out of Gemini. So at least like the mind's going to slow down a little bit, right? Like we're going to be like, all right, cool. We can chill now. All right. Let's see. And then we go to March 30th. March 30th, we're going to be having Venus conjunct Uranus. So that's going to be interesting. And that's at 16 degrees of Taurus. I was thinking about the full moon this past year. Not super significant placement there. But I have Venus conjunct Uranus in my chart. This is like unconventional relationships. This is connecting with people that have the same vision as you and really just lock it tight. Really understanding, hey, I want to create this in the world. Hey, you want to create this in the world too? Good. Let's create it together. Okay. We have the sun creeping up to conjunct Chiron here as well. April 5th, the sun will conjunct Chiron. Now, of course, the sun is sun conjuncting Chiron, and the Jupiter is not too far behind either. This is going to really solidify that wounded healer kind of energy and clear out and really, like putting the stake in the ground. You shall not pass, right? Like, like this is where the higher self sort of takes over. And it's like, all right, it's time to go. Now, our higher self must be like, this is like an integration process. And we've been doing this for quite some time. A lot of people have just been doing this since 2020. But, we have waves of people. I've been doing this since 2010, so there's a lot of people that are going to be coming into like, what the hell is going on? Like, because their identity is no longer their identity and they don't know how to work with that. So using tools like this is really going to help us to understand, where to go with it. So now, April 4th, we're now in this new frequency. We have Pluto in Aquarius, we have Saturn in Pisces, we have the Sun conjunct Chiron. This is saying, hey, the new world is here. It's time to take action. It's time to leave the old world behind. It's time to honor this part of yourself. We have Mars in Cancer, which is like really feeling the emotions, right? But not really feeling comfortable with them, still feeling a little uneasy. So we got to be around all the right people. We got to really, like, if you're working a job that you hate, you're not going to be able to work it anymore. You're going to have to make a plan and structure, because Saturn and Pisces, you got the structure, the spirituality shit out so that we can start making off-grid housing and, create new communities so that we all work together. But, you got to kind of take that, the Burning Man mentality, where like radical self-reliance, no victims. You can't have victim consciousness to build a new world. That consciousness must die with the old world. Okay, so any victim consciousness gotta go. All right. So April 11th, Sun conjunct Jupiter. That's probably the single best aspect that we can have in astrology. It's still there with Chiron. This is where it's going to make it like, okay, this is easy. Bright future. We see the bright light here. Okay. And then on the 29th of April, we have the first eclipse at 29 degrees of Aries. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's also on the 11th. 11th? No, April 20th. I guess I messed that date. Okay, April 20th. There we go. So 29, and of course, can't see here, but I just gotta, bring the time back a little bit. So new moon or full solar eclipse at 29 degrees Aries, and of course that's gonna move into Taurus. So we're coming into a new level or layer of our Aries archetype collectively, a new collective identity. Okay, a new understanding of our relationship to ourself. Okay, and Jupiter is still blasting this, like, all right, like, so we're gonna see some people that are like hyper victims out there, right? That's like the shadow side of this, like wounded healer coming out, want to be. And again, a lot of people that are, promoting, plant medicines and like promoting all these, crazy different healing things, but they don't really know what they're doing, or they haven't gone really through their full process yet. They're still wounded, and hurt people hurt people. There's gonna be a lot of people out there like that. So you must heal yourself first, or work with someone that has already gotten to the other side, so that you can know really where you're at, because you can be a little delusional. Saturn and Pisces can also be extreme delusions. All right. So yeah. Next, we have Pluto goes retrograde on the 30th. So again, it just literally taps in. It's at 0 degrees of Aquarius, which is where I believe the Jupiter Saturn conjunction was in 2021. So now Pluto's hitting that. So now it's like it's on. This is deep, shifting, changing, knowing that you got to move into this new place, wanting to decentralize, wanting to get the fuck away from all this control dynamics, like not having it. This is not having the control. And if people try to control, this is where the rebellion is going to be like, fuck you, I'm out. I'm doing my own thing. I'm not having it. I'm not playing your game. This is not okay. All right. So we come into May, and on May 8th, we have Sun conjunct Uranus. All right. So Sun conjunct Uranus is unexpected. This is like awakening central. All right. Now we've already, hit the really core of our wounds. Coming into this, like what's going to come next? Where are we going next? Or what kind of change do I have to make? Or what's going to happen for me to get to this next level? Then 16th, Jupiter moves into Taurus. This is going to be amazing. And it's going to be sitting right around the North Node. So now we have Jupiter conjunct the North Node. That is seeing the vision, seeing the future, seeing the bigger picture, ready to take action, ready to move, ready to go. So this is where we're going to see the new leaders stepping up. This is where we're going to see new ideas, new hope, literally new hope everywhere. That's like, all right, man, we don't need all this conflict. We don't need all this bad shit. We need love. We need creation. We don't need competition. Competition is a thing of the old dualistic dynamic. Creation is where it's at. All right. On the 20th, we have Mars entering Libra. And then on the 31st, we have Jupiter conjunct exactly the North Node. So really, this is the time, guys. This is the time where we're setting the new foundation of the new world that we are in the process of creating. Now, June 5th, Venus moves into Leo. So now Venus is going to be going retrograde in Leo this year. And this is a 7-year cycle as well. So think back to 2015. That was the last time Venus was retrograde in Leo. What did you have going on then? Whoops. I don't care. So let's get up here to the 20th. I'm sorry, June 5th. Okay, so now Venus is in Leo. So this is where we're closing out a 7-year cycle. So things from 7 years ago, ideas, businesses, relationships, things like that could all come back for a review. Or what have you learned since then? Or what have you gone through since then? Right. And as we come into the 16th, Saturn will go retrograde as well. So now we have Pluto and Saturn retrograde. Saturn will be retrograding at 7 degrees of Pisces and will go back to 0 degrees. So, and now Pluto's already back in Capricorn. And so it's literally Pluto is going to be sitting in these anorectic degrees, okay, for the next year. So this Pluto energy is going to be no joke, guys. Deep collective transformation, okay? New beginnings, let go of the old and embrace the new, embrace the unknown. Really like massive ego deaths. It's going to be either ego deaths or literal deaths, okay? And it's the people that have already gone through ego deaths or had near-death experiences that are going to be running shit because they already understand what this feels like. And I am one of those people, okay? So then on the 29th of June, Neptune will go retrograde. So now we have 3 planets going retrograde, and Neptune is at 27 degrees. We've never seen that. Okay. Who knows what this energy is going to be like? Neptune it's getting hot, it's getting intense. And then of course, Saturn creeping up there this next couple of years. I mean, the psychic gifts that we're going to be accessing here in the next few years, you're going to have to be real open-minded, and you're going to have to be really, really connected to yourself to honor this, because if you're closed-minded to this extrasensory perception, psychic ability kind of stuff, you're going to have problems. All right. This is where people are going to think they're going fucking crazy. All right. And this is, so this is why, like, we live in a sick society. In order to get healthy, we need to teach people what healthy really means. Schizophrenics are really just powerful psychics that don't understand how to work with their energies. Okay. This shit is real, guys. Okay. So let's see, July 10th, we have Mars going into Virgo. So Mars in Virgo is pretty good. This is like purification now of the divine masculine. And this is where we get direct. Okay, this is what we get a structure. This is what we got to do. This is where we're building all this new stuff. This is where, like more and more things are coming and really building to a whole new level. Then let's see, what's July 17th? See, we have a new moon that day, but we have, so this is where the nodes move into Aries and Libra officially. So halfway through the year, this is right where now we're starting officially this new nodal transit. Now, the eclipses are still going to be a little bit before and after it, but this is where literally like this new identity thing really, really begins, okay, on July 17th. And it's exactly when we're having a new moon at 25 degrees of Cancer. So this is popping it off with new emotions, new emotional understandings, capacity, right? Then the 23rd, Venus will go retrograde at 28 degrees Leo. All right, on right there at the another anorectic degree. So this is mastery, and this is also going to be, of course, Venus retrograde is karma that we built up from relationships. What do we need to learn, right? So hopefully you've been doing the right thing in relationships, being true, being pure. And this is where we can get karmic gifts, or karmic, tests and difficulties. So, as long like from now on, right? I cannot stress this enough. Live in your heart. And when you live in your heart, you have to you have to feel your feelings. So whatever you're taking or whatever you're doing or however you're living, that is having you avoid your feelings, you got to stop and you got to shift, you got to change. At first, feeling feelings is hard, all right? Because of all the conditioning, okay? We've been trained, we've been conditioned to not feel our feelings. But our feelings is where the magic is. That's where our heart is open, okay? So now we come to August. The next major transit is, we also have Chiron retrograde at the same time. And then we come into August 29th, all right, where we have Uranus going retrograde. And on the 27th, we have Mars going to Libra, and then on the 29th, we have Uranus going retrograde. So that's, now Uranus is at 23 degrees. Jupiter and Uranus will not be conjuncting in Taurus right now. So that's going to happen in 2024 because then Jupiter is going to go retrograde and they're just going to miss each other. But we're going to be feeling the energy of both those planets in that house, which is very auspicious, but very intense. So this can either go really, really, really great or really, really, really shitty. All right. So because of all the energies that are like our war, if we have war within ourselves, which is separation between heart and mind, then we're going to be feeding into the war energy out there, and we're going to be finding ourselves in conflict because there's probably going to be some level of conflict in the United States. Actually, pretty much every country out there, there's a good chance that we're going to see some level of conflict. But if we don't engage in that vibration within ourselves, if we're not in conflict within ourselves, then there's nothing to be in conflict with out there, and we'll be strictly in our creation mode, and we'll be building our new life. So we won't have to worry about any of that, right? This is where the new earth is shifting. This is where stepping in the fourth density or 5D, whatever the hell you want to call it, they all kind of mean the same thing in my opinion. All right. But 5D is living in Christ consciousness in the heart center. And that is straight creation energy. There is no room, like even if you have, like, say you're in a relationship, you break up, like, okay, well, I appreciate you, I love you for the lessons we learned. It doesn't have to be ugly, right? Like, I still love you no matter what. I appreciate the gifts that we gave each other that we learned, and and then you move on and you allow that to be okay. You want them to be happy because you want to be happy. And if there is something inside you that's fighting it, it means that there's a conflict within yourself that they're projecting back to you. So learn the lesson, humble yourself, and step in in a humble manner. Okay. Meek equals humble. The meek shall inherit the earth. And this is how it's going to be done. September 4th, Jupiter retrograde and Venus will go direct. So between the end of July and the beginning of September, all right, that 5-week-ish period, all right, it's not smart to get in a new relationship. It's not smart to create fights or issues. It's not smart to like start a new project, just continue to, really, again, I'm just gonna say it again, follow your heart. Too easy. All right, now October 10th, Pluto will go direct at 27 degrees. So it's coming back to the spot at the United States Pluto return, which would be the last part until it moves fully into Aquarius. And this will be the real true like digging the heels into this new world where we are creating this new world. November 4th, gotta catch up here. November 4th, Saturn will go direct. And we have the new moon at 20 degrees Scorpio conjunct Mars. So we had a full moon conjunct Mars here just a few weeks ago in December. And now we're having a new moon conjunct Mars in Scorpio, which is interesting. I feel like that's going to complete the cycle of whatever this past full moon was, which is pretty intense. Also, the other eclipses, October 14th, we have a solar eclipse at 21 degrees Libra. And October 28th-ish, 29th, we have a lunar eclipse at 5 degrees Taurus. So, those are going to be some key points as to, the first, let's talk about the eclipses for a minute. The April 20th total solar eclipse, this is totally moving into our new identities as a collective, okay? Now, the May 5th, 6th lunar eclipse at 15 degrees Scorpio, this is ending and clearing out the final energy of the Scorpio, letting go of stuff. All right, now, so it's breaking into the new, then letting go, then breaking in the new again with the solar eclipse at 21 degrees Libra, of now seeing how do we want to have these new relationships? What are our new boundary standards? How are we going to live in this new, meat suit with this whole new way of living? It's literally, we are not just closing a chapter, we are closing a way of life. And it may feel jarring and weird and awkward, especially with Saturn coming into Pisces. It's going to be like, who are we? Right? Because now our heart is taking over. Now that 5D consciousness is like, I'm coming whether you like it or not. So it's anybody that's still living in the ego is going to have a really, really hard time. So stop being egocentric. And all this narcissism, you're going to see like all these leaders that are doing all this dumb shit, they're going bye-byes. They're done. Okay. But we have to be careful with other, people that are coming out very righteous. There's going to be a lot of righteous new leaders. And anybody that's pushing some kind of agenda that's too much to one side or the other, or anything that is not fully unifying to the collective, is going to be difficult. So we have to watch for, all that, false prophet kind of stuff. And then, of course, October 20th, 29th, with the lunar eclipse at 5 degrees Taurus, that's finishing up our new understandings of morals, ethics, values, and stepping into the finer things in life in this new way of living. Now, when I say finer things in life, it's these new things living in our heart of what we now appreciate and have gratitude for, like these new morals and ethics of living in our heart space. That is the new abundance. Nobody gives a shit about all this material stuff anymore, right? We want to all be able to be abundant together. So we create win-win scenarios so we can all be abundant. That's what it's about. But abundant in health, abundant in love, right? Raising our children in a good, solid way. We are clearing out the trauma from all these past generations. And a lot of people out there like myself are clearing these generational curses, right? And we're really fixing, we're hacking the matrix to fix all these dense energies and these curses and these just bad things that people before us they weren't consciously aware of what was going on. And it takes a massive amount of energy to be able to do this. So I applaud each and every one of you that have been doing this work. So with all that being said, I know I said at the beginning that I was going to do each sign, but I think this has been a pretty long video. So I'm going to go do each sign in another video. And I'm going to timestamp it because I want to respect all you guys' time. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope this video helped. Thank you for watching, for liking, for sharing, for subscribing, and expect that other video coming with each sun sign here in a little bit. And, happy 2023. Love you all very much. I'll talk to you soon.